Hey guys, welcome to about Ukraine, and well, we're now in the third week of war, and in this video I want to talk about the 5 good things and the 5 bad things about this war. I mean, what could happen. Well, the number one fear that I have is that the war could turn very lengthy, and that is because Russia has not actually had a full conscription yet. They have about, I think it's about 1 million reservists. Well, like basically, if they enable men between the ages of 20 and 25 to fight, basically that's another, I don't know, probably another 1 million of conscripts that they can tap into, and that is a big problem. So basically, that's what we have. And the second thing is that Russia does have a lot of missiles, has a lot of rockets. It can, escalate it by, throwing cluster bombs, throwing vacuum bombs. Chemical warfare is not off the table, and that is another, I suppose, trick up Putin's sleeve that he has here in Ukraine. The number 2 bad sort of thing is that Ukraine's skies will not be closed. It's pretty obvious at this point. You're not really surprising anybody with that anymore. There's been a lot of talk from NATO, from the US, that they don't want to do this. They don't want to get into a direct conflict with Russia, and it's understandable, I guess. But Ukraine is obviously still asking for more help, more assistance when it comes to humanitarian assistance, especially arms, troops, and that kind of stuff. The number 3 thing is that Russia has taken up quite a lot of corridors. Not land, I would say corridors, but land is probably the next big step that it can, tap into. So that means that Russia has taken a lot of land that is within like 70 or so miles from the border of Russia and Ukraine. They've sort of created a land bridge between Crimea and the Donetsk area, the eastern Ukraine area. So Mariupol, Sumy, Konotop, Chernihiv are in dire conditions. In many cities in western Ukraine, like Vinnytsia, Dnipro, Cherkasy, that's like central Ukraine, but Vinnytsia, Khmelnytsky, Lviv, Lutsk, Rivne, they have all seen missile attacks and explosions, so those areas aren't really safe either. No area in Ukraine is safe. That is a consensus right now. And recently Russia has attacked the Yaroviv base, which is literally like 20 or 10 miles away from the Polish-Ukrainian border, and that is also a very threatening development. The number 4 thing is that Russia is trying to very hard to achieve air supremacy over Ukraine, and they want to actually have some good amount of air power over Ukraine. It's not really working, but like I said, it doesn't stop them from trying, and we're seeing a lot of explosions, a lot of bombs, a lot of missiles being thrown in Ukraine, and innocent people are dying. Children are being stuck in rubble. Women, men, civilians that are just like walking around, they can get shot and they can get killed, and there's footage of this happening already. The number 5 thing is that there's probably some poor morale, some supply chain issues. There's things like lack of money that can slow down Russia. But like I said, Putin is determined, he's adamant about what he's doing, and he's not going to stop until Ukraine is, ground down to a fine ash, to nothing, essentially. He does have the ability to, like I said, bomb down cities into submission, and that is a big threat. So now that we talked about the bad things, let's talk about the good things. What does Ukraine have up its sleeve? What tricks does it have? What can turn the situation in Ukraine's favor? Number 1 is that Ukraine is on the side of the good. Everybody's on the side of Ukraine. The whole world's on the side of Ukraine, and Ukraine will fight to the end. And that all means that Ukraine does have a very big advantage here. It means that Ukraine has a clear goal. Ukraine's goal is to basically save its land from the Russian invaders. Ukrainians would rather die than live under the Russian flag, and that is a very, very powerful statement, and it just permeates the society. Everybody knows this, and everybody feels it. So that's the number 1 good thing that Ukraine has. Number two is that it seems that Zelensky and the Ukrainian government will not compromise. It will not do anything to undermine the Ukrainian territorial integrity, which means the Crimea and the Donbass area. So that is not going to be given up by Ukraine at all. What Russia can count on probably is to turn Ukraine into a frozen conflict, which again, I believe that the Ukrainian government will have none of that, and they're pretty strong on their negotiation position. Number three, I think it's quite unlikely Kiev or any major city in the north of Ukraine will be taken. Southern Ukraine, it's a different story, but northern Ukraine, I don't think so. And the defenses are extremely strong. And again, that's going to be a big blow to Russia. I mean, after all, I think Russia will need something like 2 million people, soldiers, to encircle Kiev and to hold it. I mean, it's one thing when you just do a little blitzkrieg, and then, what's next? When your soldiers are all dead, you haven't really accomplished anything. So yeah, like Russia needs millions and millions of soldiers in order to take Kiev. And that is the reality of it. And they just don't have that. Number four, there's just way too many war crimes that Russia's doing. Shelling humanitarian corridors, shelling, residential areas, attacking convoys, attacking convoys of evacuees, attacking like lone people walking around and just shooting them down. All these images of like children with like missing limbs. It's just too much. And again, it gets even more attention to Ukraine. It gets more people rallying behind Ukraine's cause. And that's basically a good thing for Ukraine, even though it's extremely, extremely horrible and horrific. And number five, this war is difficult for both sides. It's extremely difficult for both sides. Ukraine could wait for an offensive, they could push it back, but Russia's costs are increasing day by day, and it's very difficult to see how much they could accomplish with what they have. So I'll leave it with this. Maybe it's a positive thing. So while Ukraine can get defeated, Russia cannot win. There's simply no way Russia can win this. So despite what I've said in this video, I don't think this conflict is going to last more than 10 days or like maybe 2 weeks at most. The active phase will quiet down, and this war is a reminder of thousands and tens of thousands of Ukrainian men, women, children. They're putting their lives on the line for the stability of Europe and the world, essentially. And I just want to leave this video with, I guess a request to keep these brave Ukrainian women, children, and men in your prayers, because they're being shelled, they're being attacked, and they're in a horrible, horrible position, and they need all the help that they can get. Anyway, guys, that's it for the video, and until next time, guys, take care.